So this is our palm tree. This is on our land. There comes Palo Puto. Oh wait, he's
Dogface, Panama,
Oh, you know that dog. We've been through so much stuff. There's a family up there. We adore them, and I don't know if you can see the dog, but we have, before we came down, the Living in Panama site has a song called "Going Down to Panama," and they use it as their advertisement jingle, and it's from an actual song from quite some time ago, but it's really resurfaced in the pandemic. Again, those are the mango trees that are a community area that we're hoping to keep them. I have relived my childhood because I'm now climbing like a good 2/3 of the way up into the joint of those 1, 2, 3, 4 trunk branches of the tree. My goal is sometime I'll be able to really climb up, but we'll see. Doing amazing for 59, but I mentioned the Living in Panama house is inspired by that design, and we'll give you a quick look at this Living in Panama house. But first, back to the staking the claim. We learned that the palm tree is on our lot because, look, here's our stake. And it's literally a little PVC or plastic pipe in the ground with a stick with some white paint, because we said the owner we can't find the corners of our lot and we want it surveyed and blah 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 blah, and they're like, that's just not how things are done. There is actually a legal geographic survey, and we were so like not attuned to just the simplicity of Panama that we were very troubled that they didn't identically match up like with the geographic markers, and because it has been geographically surveyed and there's latitude and longitude parts where like, oh my god, they don't match, and it's like, oh my god, nobody cares, because the bottom line is your land is right of possession, and we will title it after it's purchased in ours, and we will fence it. But the bottom line is, oh, chitras, I got one. The ladies warned me not to go without boots because there are little crabs that bite, and I just decided I don't mind it that much. They're like little hermit crabs. But this is our other stake. So our fence would go kind of right down this tree line. So this is our whole lot. It goes down from this side. It's about almost 165 feet long. These are our trees in the back. And that palm tree, which is the coconut palm, is on our lot. The date palm is on the neighbor's side. And every time I come out here, I say to Paul, I just can't imagine God intended heaven to be any better than this. And we come back to the concept, but like, I'm just not waiting until I die to get to heaven. And Wayne Dyer speaks about this a lot. Paul's always often saying, well, once I die, I'll be happy in another life. And I'm like, nope, gonna be happy in this life. So we've both come through a lot to come to that place and realize this is the place, because honestly, I could be happy for the rest of my life here. And I would say I never think I've seen Paul so happy and healthy. But coming back to the dog, because this is how life is in Panama, I may seem attention deficit, but we have learned to just flow because this is how things come up. The next most important thing is this dog. Perro de cara de perro. Bueno, perro. The dog is a very well-trained family dog. There's a lot of dogs that appear like wild, uncared for dogs on beaches in Panama. Most of them are owned by somebody. Many of them are not. But they're not really feral dogs. They're dogs in the hood. This dog up here is actually the dog of a family that we've met, really nice friends already. I mean, I'm going to say good friends. We've talked to them so many times, and I'd been through such an emotional catharsis, and we're like the next to the last day, and we're not still dead set on, we both on the same page about doing this, or the terms, or the when, or the how. And I just came up here on the beach, and I cried, Pero, come here, Pero. Bueno, Pero. Bueno. Yeah, come here. You know me, Pero. They're a little skittish, but then once they remember that you're familiar. So this little dog here, who will allow me to approach, is a particularly well cared for dog. And originally we thought there's no chance we're bringing Kai, because most of the dogs looked totally parasite laden and a lot of disease and just illness. But this little puppy here, it's not a puppy. Yesterday, when I went to talk to the family and try to process some of my thoughts about, like, do you honestly believe we could be happy here? And can you please help Paul understand that, like, I will die and so will he if we don't have this. There's Cara del Perro, because our dog at home is called Dogface, and or Face of the Dog, or Doog Face, And this beach, based on Back to the Living in Panama song, it goes, come on down to Panama. And Paul has become famous for calling it Dogface Ma. And I went through a very emotional catharsis here because I thought, oh my God, there's not a chance I can bring her. And I just broke down and cried on this land one day because it's always been Dogface Ma. Hi, babies. Yes, this dog allowed me to cry on his shoulder. Come on, babies. You want me to come to you, don't you? Okay. Yes, how's my darling? Thank you for letting me cry on your shoulder yesterday. I was just so overcome with emotions about the idea that I couldn't imagine going home without this dream in place. And this dog literally just let me weep on his shoulder. And very sweet dog. I guess that's much I got. What's going on, Dogface? Say hi to the crowd. Hi to the crowd. Oh, now, this is about as good as it gets. These dogs and the people, honestly, they just know how to relax, and they're so chill. Are you going to lick my feet? You're going to like Kaya. Kaya's a little nervous, and she's going to acclimate. We've gone back and forth. Would it be kind to bring her? But honest to God, if she lives for a week, it's going to be in that paradise, and I think she's going to live longer than that. Our concerns were she'd be afraid of all the stray dogs, and we've learned they're really, really kind, and they're not really strays. They're somebody's dog. They just have no leash laws. The other thing is it rains a lot, but we have actually found, because it's so consistent, it's a really comforting, soothing sound. But she still may be scared and hunker down. But we kind of came to the feeling like, what's the worst that could happen? At home, she cowers in the kitchen with her head under the dishwasher for like 2 to 3 seasons of the year, because anytime it rains from spring to, fall, and especially in the summer months like June and July, the dog's hidden in the kitchen. And I said, well, she can either be hidden in the kitchen or she can be in a room in the Panama house. You're gonna like Dogface. Yes, you are. So Kaya's almost certainly gonna come with us unless some other plan reveals itself. But this is a little example of what a living in Panama house is gonna be like. And this is a 1-bedroom. We thought we'd buy this and fix it up and live out of it. And we fell so in love with the place, and we became so sure that now that we've experienced this way of life, we don't think we could live it any other way, that we just totally took this out of our plan. We're like, we're not going to pay to finish their unfinished 1-bedroom and then, pay to maintain it and maybe run a, garden center out of it or something, when the reality is we got 165 feet up there. So we are building either a 2 or a 3-bedroom, but I'm thinking probably the 3-bedroom model of this. But if you notice these big wide patios, most of the living in Panama is done outdoors. And we were like, how are we ever going to do? We couldn't comprehend, like, people have living rooms outdoors and they have unbelievable activities outdoors, and some people even have outdoor kitchens, but we couldn't wrap our heads around it until we got to this. And then we're like, oh, look at Paul's knocking on the window. So it's not a door, sweetie, that's the window, this is the door. So this is the 1-bedroom unit, and Paul's hiding. Oh God. And the way the ceilings are, this is designed to be open air. These can be closed ceiling, but this one's designed to be open air. Closed ceiling would be if you really do want to air condition, and we think we'd probably have at least a couple of the inner rooms air conditioned. That remains to be seen. But I'm trying to figure out a way that you could have this open air design. The part above that would actually be enclosed. This is not finished, I don't think. But what we're hoping is that we could have it so that it's still open air, there would be a way to close that off at a time we want to air condition it. But honestly, down on the beach, I almost barely feel like I need air conditioning. This little area here would be a bathroom, and pretty decent size. Paul's modeling the bathroom. There's Dogface Ma, also known as Cara del Perro. Come here, Dogface. Cara del Perro. The dog is snooping around because some of the caretakers on the land, and even just some of the locals here, they'll come up here and hang out just for shelter. Oh, God. So this is a kitchen, and it could even be kept open air or enclosed. We're starting to think, after having been in a very rustic cabin with not a lot of amenities, that we will probably enclose our kitchen just because of insects, ants. We've got, I'm sitting right here, and I could be pretty happy as a clam cooking here. But we'll see, because we haven't been here in the hot season yet. But okay, Paul, stop. Paul's doing like really cute little. You know what? You don't have to stop. You're the happiest you've seen. I'm going to give him a kiss. He's the happiest he's seen. in ages. I'm not photographing us, don't worry, but I could. There's the dog, because you don't need to worry about trash cleanup here because the dogs just eat it. When we first got here, we were so alarmed by all the free dogs, but this one is very well cared for, has a harness. The harness has little, dog feed on it, and, so the lovely family back there, well cared for dog. We also met an expat from, do you remember where Bernie's from? Oh, Colorado, right? Bernie's from Colorado?
Yes, Bernie's.
So the owner had a friend that she introduced us to. He moved here right before the pandemic in a house down in San Vicente, beachfront, and then he got locked down. So he was in the house for like 9 months. Panama literally locked down, like they had a complete stay-at-home quarantine. So you could be in your house or your yard, but that was it. And I don't even know that there was a whole lot of people in their yards because, it was scary. Nobody knew what we were dealing with. But because they did that and they didn't end the stay-at-home until, I think for natives, they ended the stay-at-home in like August maybe? And then they started letting nationals back into the country in September. And then they started easing. So there were levels of attainment. Had to be a certain rate of transmission and a certain per capita. And the RT had to be below 1 before they reopened. And the reentry for us ended up being as of, God, I can't remember what month it is. Was it October 12th? It was supposed to be the 12th for us, but we needed an extra day to get in our COVID test. You have to get a COVID test that's hypothetically 48 hours before you land in Panama, but based on the airline, they may check you on the way out too. So we got it so that both of our flight out from Denver and our flight into Panama were both within the 48-hour window. That's getting easier and easier because there's more rapid testing stations at the states. But you can't always bank on a hub airline. Like if we had waited to change in Fort Lauderdale, there is water a lot for this little model home. We call it the model home. And we've actually hung out there and hung the hammock there and the mocha. But go ahead, would you run that just so they can see? So believe it or not, like this is water Panama style. So one of the things that we just put in to our, negotiations is, yes, there will be water on the land. Go ahead, you can shut that off. And we said it would be sufficiently secure. Like you can see this is fairly wobbly. And we said we would like a spigot that is not leaking. And we started to say there would be a lockbox on it. A lockbox on it. Hey, Dogface. Baby. Dogface is drinking out of my hand. Oops, I missed the dog. Here. So, here. Aquí. Mira, aquí. Mira. Turn it back on. She's trying to get it. Oh my goodness.